I've been covering a lot recently on what you need to do with your nutrition to build visible muscle. And I've mentioned a lot how effort in the gym is a huge part of this. You're gonna need to put in the hard work and lift heavy, in addition to being serious about your protein and calorie intake. But there's very little information out there on what that effort should actually look like in the gym. Should you just do 5 reps of everything? Should you superset? How much rest between sets? So today we're really going to dig into the training details. And if you really want to learn, the best way is to go try these concepts for yourself and see how they feel on your body. Hey, this video is brought to you today by my friends at Element. Element is a tasty electrolyte mix with everything you need and nothing you don't. That means lots of salt and no sugar. Element was formulated to help anyone with their electrolyte needs and is perfectly suited to folks following keto, low carb, or paleo diets. Element contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium per packet. The perfect ratio I have found for me. What I love the most is that there's no junk. No sugar, no coloring, no artificial ingredients, no gluten, no fillers, no BS. As a member of our community, Element has a very special offer for you. You can claim your free Element sample pack simply by going over to the website drinkelement.com/MarcusPhilly to get yours. And if you're wondering what my favorite flavor is, raspberry salt mixed with some ice water is delicious. I hope you enjoy. So you want to build muscle and you've been eating more protein and high quality foods. But how do you put those calories towards muscle instead of fat? Once you're fueled up with quality calories, your energy and recovery should feel elevated so you can get after some great lifting sessions. Progressive overload is always the guiding light in effective resistance training, but especially so in this case. Here are specific examples from the Persist pump track and how to approach them for maximum muscle gain. Remember, these are part of a progression that builds week to week. So check out Persist for full workouts and training cycles. But today, I'll introduce you to the concepts and why they work. The first is intensity plus back off sets. Here's how I'd approach a back squat progression for muscle gain. You'll do 4 working sets, and the first 3 will be 6 reps each. I'm gonna give you a tempo, 20x1. That means 2 seconds down, explode back up, and pause at the top for 1 second in between each rep. This tempo is gonna be similar to how you see a lot of people moving naturally in the gym, but the 2 seconds down means you'll have some element of control over the lift instead of just diving down to the bottom. For each of these working sets, you're going to build intensity. You might do a couple warm-up sets and then dive into your first set where you make the effort a 6 out of 10 on the RPE scale. The second set, increase that intensity to 7 out of 10. Build some weight. And then on the third set, we're gonna make this your top set and you're gonna try and hit an 8 out of 10 on the RPE scale. What that means is that you only have a couple reps left in the tank before you hit form failure. To make sure your rest is consistent and you don't hop on Instagram between your sets, you're going to start a new set every 2.5 minutes. That's gonna give you about 2 minutes rest in between sets, but it's gonna hold you accountable to a running clock. Now for your fourth set, which is gonna happen at the 7-minute and 30-second mark, on the clock, you're gonna strip some weight off the bar from your last 8 out of 10 effort set. Take 80% of what you last lifted, and in this final set, we'll call it your back off set. Now on this set, instead of pausing at the top for 1 second after each rep, you're gonna keep tension on the muscle the entire time. You're gonna lower in 2 seconds, come right back up, and then immediately begin your next repetition going 2 seconds down to the bottom. There are 0 pauses at the bottom or the top of every rep. And unlike your last set, which was only for 6 reps, you are going to try and get as many reps as possible on this final set while still hitting that tempo. I promise this will hurt. Okay, moving into the second intensity format. This is reverse pyramid sets. Here's another format that I'm using in this cycle of Persist for the cyclist front squat, which shows up every other week. This is a terrific quad developer. This time, we're going to make sure to go heavy on the first working set. And when you come back to the progression, you're gonna be trying to beat that weight that you did last time in the previous weeks. We're gonna be working with rep ranges here, which are terrific for allowing you to really go for it if you feel good, but also give you some wiggle room to dial back if your form starts to suffer. We all have off days where lifting with specific reps and percentages just doesn't work out well. Maybe you slept poorly or you had a stressful conversation before walking into the gym. Your training doesn't have to be a total failure if you're not firing on all cylinders. So here's how the reverse pyramid goes. The first set, you're gonna do 4 to 6 reps at a 3-0-x-0 tempo. You're gonna try to get 6, but if you only get 4 or 5 without your form or the tempo breaking down, then no worries. This first set from 4 to 6 reps has to be extremely tough. I want it to feel like your top set for the day, which means you'll have done anywhere from 2 to 4 warm-up sets before this to figure out what that starting weight is going to be. Now we're on an every 2-minute clock here. So at the next 2-minute mark, we start the next set. But this time, we're gonna be doing more reps at a slightly lower weight. You'll take off 5 to 10% off the bar, and you'll go for 6 to 8 reps this time, as opposed to 4 to 6. Now you're on to set 3 at the 4-minute mark. You're gonna go for 8 to 10 reps this time, so adding more reps, but again, lowering the weight on the bar by 5 to 10%. Lighter weight, more reps, the same 3 seconds down with no pause in the tempo. Always trying to hit the upper rep range if you can. And the next time you come back to this progression, you'll start that first set even heavier than you did last time. The rep ranges will give you some wiggle room if you can't get as many reps, but you can really get after that first set with this format, and don't be afraid to make that first set super tough. Moving into the next lifting format, Agonist Supersets. One of my favorite ways to think about combining movements into a superset is whether they target the same muscle groups, similar ones, or opposing ones. Each approach has its benefits and drawbacks, but an agonist superset is especially powerful for small muscle groups like the triceps. These areas need a lot of volume to see change, so we're going to hit them back to back at slightly different angles until you basically turn into a quivering pile of jelly. You may go up to and even beyond failure by the end of the second exercise, but these exercises have a lower impact on your body than big compound lifts like the deadlift. And the format makes sure you get a peak training stimulus, which will facilitate muscle growth. Every 3 minutes and 30 seconds, you'll begin a new set. It starts with 8 to 10 reps of a JM press at a 3-0-x-0 tempo, pushing your effort very high, close to failure. If you haven't done a JM press, you set up like a narrow grip bench press. As you lower the barbell down, you try and bring it more or less to your throat, and you keep your elbows right alongside your ribs, and you do not let the elbows drop down lower than your chest. What you should feel is a big tricep stimulus. After your JM press, you go directly into the second movement, which is a dumbbell tricep extension on your back, also known as a skull crusher. You'll do 12 to 15 of those and then rest. We're gonna repeat this same cycle for 3 total sets. And remember, you're doing a new one every 3 minutes and 30 seconds. This can progress with similar movements each and every week, like a narrow grip bench press with a seated dumbbell overhead tricep extension. We're using different tricep movements that hit different angles so that you hit every aspect of that muscle over the course of the training cycle. Now, this may be a lot of detail to take in, but if you want to build muscle, here are the takeaways for your training. First, work hard and use effort wisely. You can't do everything at a 10 out of 10. Make a plan for how you're going to build, where you'll back off, and where your toughest sets should be. Second, there's more to the equation than adding weight on the bar. Yes, that's part of it, but your weights can't infinitely go up forever. So use rep ranges, different tempos, shorter or longer rest, and selecting slightly different movements to keep challenging your body to adapt. Third, be a good note taker. The details of your training will help you progress each week, so you can find a way to to win almost every day that you train by getting one more rep, bumping up your weight a little, or even moving with more quality and confidence in your training. And as always, let me know if you have questions and go try these concepts for yourself. You can find them in Persist, especially in the pump training track. And you can try it out for free for 2 weeks at functional-bodybuilding.com.